Hive Scrims. One of the most competitive communities on Hive, Scrims take skill, game sense, and most importantly, teamwork. In this video, I will be explaining the basics of Scrims, specifically for those who have just gotten into the Scrim community. There are three main roles in Scrims. The first major role is the bridger/bower. This is arguably the most important role. The role of the bridger is to get max gens as fast as possible, defend the treasure, and get an iron set. Generally, the bridger is the one who bows so that there can be a bow on defense. Usually the bridger will create a defense out of 2 layers of wood and 1 layer of endstone. It is always essential that the bridger has tools to ensure they can mine someone out who is blocked in. Also, the bridger may come to mid sometimes in order to bow stall the enemy team and allow their team to bank more Ms. In this situation, the bridger must watch the enemy team to make sure nobody bypasses. The second major role on a team is the banker. This person is also extremely important because they bank all of the team's emeralds. You need 28 emeralds for the first diamond set, and most of the time the team with the first diamond set wins. The banker should fight only when necessary and try to take team fights often. The banker should never take a 1v1 with Ms because it risks losing them to the other team. If you are the banker, you should never take a fight you aren't confident you will win. The third major role in Scrims is the aggro/staller. The staller's role is to hold as many people at the other team's base as possible to ensure their teammates can bank emeralds. Often a staller will have tools and blocking materials in case the time arises to block in. A staller's first priority should be to stall. However, if the opportunity presents itself, a staller may drop for a block-in in order to get the treasure. This player should not constantly go for treasure breaks because often they will not get the treasure and will instead be wasting their team's resources. However, this does not mean you should never go for treasure breaks, just that you need to choose the right time. For example, when you have a teammate with you or there is nobody at base. The fourth player on the team generally rotates between middle and helping the aggro player. It will often help the banker take fights at mid and try to hold the enemy team back. Now that you understand what the different roles do, it is important you know about a few other things that are crucial in Scrims. First of all, comms are extremely important in Scrims. It is vital that you know exactly where and what the enemy team is doing at all times. You might hear comms like ink mid, which tell you that someone is rushing from mid, or side rush from green, which lets you know that someone is rushing from green. These comms are extremely important in making sure you do not lose your treasure preemptively. Additionally, if there is someone rushing or stalling, there should always be one extra person defending. For example, if there's one person stalling, there should be 2 people back. You should never rely on one person to win a 1v1 for the treasure. Scrims are generally comprised of 3 parts, including the early game, mid game, and end game. In the early game, the teams take the first naked mid fight and fight for control over middle until they get an iron set. In the mid game, teams focus heavily on banking in order to get the first diamond set, and sometimes rush when they see an opening to stall or get the treasure. Finally, in the end game, none of the teams have treasures, and it is important that your team acquires things like snowballs, ender pearls, gaps, and chorus fruits in order to stay alive and get an edge over the enemy team. All in all, Scrims take a significant amount of practice to get good at, and you'll never become the best player within your first few Scrims. The best way to get better is to practice. Thanks for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed.